Okay, I don't know what the hell TikTok is doing, but they completely took away my sound. So, what I was pretty much saying is that the Spirit of the Lord wants us to cross bridges and not get stuck on them. So, I detail how when after I got divorced, the Most High told me to go to St. Louis. St. Louis from New York to Texas, St. Louis was the bridge. I was trying to stay on the bridge. I was trying to camp out on the bridge. I was trying to build a whole community on the bridge, and that couldn't happen. And because everybody was being so loving, so kind toward me and my children, I was like, you know what, this is where I need to be. My mother, her friend owned the building that she was living in, and so he also owned the buildings that was next door to her. And so it was like a 3-bedroom, 1 bath, I think it was a cute location. I loved the location. It was a cute area. And so I was looking into that. I was looking into getting a car. I was looking into getting a job. I had already put my daughter in school, and I really liked that area, but that's not what God called me to do. So the stuff wasn't working out. And as the Lord is hearing my thoughts about me trying to stay on that bridge, then that's when the energy started shifting. It started shifting from me, going from New York to St. Louis to Texas, to me saying, you know what, I'm going to stay in St. Louis. I have my family here. They're a great support system, but they stopped becoming that support system. So I had no choice but to start looking into getting to Texas. And the reason being is that the reason why the Lord told me while I was in New York that I needed to make a pit stop in St. Louis is because there was someone staying on that property where my children and I were going to be. And the moment that person leaves, then we will be able to get there. And the Lord also made sure that the leasing company confirmed that for me, because the leasing company, when I actually inquired about the property, they said, yeah, someone was just staying there. They just moved out. We got everything cleaned up. So yeah, it's available, so they definitely confirmed what the Lord had spoken to me. And so all of that stuff that happened needed to happen while I was on that bridge. St. Louis was the bridge for me, and all too often we like to try to camp out on the bridge. We like to try to build community on the bridge. We like to be on the bridge longer than we're supposed to. A bridge is supposed to get us from one side to the other. And so my family, after I got to Texas, my mother and my uncle actually apologized to me for how they treated me, and I told them, I explained to them, I get it, because it wasn't something that they wanted to do, but they had to. It was necessary, because that catapulted me to get to where it was that I needed to go, because God was very clear about what it was that I needed to do. And so a lot of times when we are looking at closed doors, we are getting stuck on why people aren't supporting us. We are getting stuck on why people are not helping us. We are getting stuck on, why is this happening? Why don't I have a community? It's because you're not supposed to get stuck in those spaces. God has something for you forward. It is time for you to outgrow. Well, you've already outgrown those spaces. You've already outgrown those places. You've already outgrown those connections. Now it's time for you to move forward. The same thing as it was with Yeshua, Jesus. With Jesus, his own town didn't even accept him, but that didn't stop him from still ministering the gospel. He left that town and went to where it was that he needed to go, and he produced great fruit because of it, because he didn't stop. He kept going. So don't allow yourself to get stuck on a bridge. Bridges are meant to get you from one side to the other, and hopefully you go forward. Hopefully you don't keep looking back. You don't want to turn into a pillar of salt. If you're supposed to be going forward, don't be like Lot's wife. You don't need to look back. For what? You already know what's back there. You need to pay attention to what's ahead of you. You need to pay attention to what it is that you need to do going forward. So I just wanted to encourage people about that, because sometimes we can get stuck on a bridge. A lot of people get afraid. I find it very funny that now I got to keep clearing my throat and stuff like that, and then TikTok just try to stop my sound for no reason. I don't have any music playing or anything like that, but I find it very funny. And I said that this morning as well, like in the middle of the night, I had to keep clearing my throat and coughing and stuff like that, and I heard the Holy Spirit say, your throat chakra is being attacked, because as a prophet, We use our throat, we use our sound, the voice, our vibrations in our words, are very powerful when we speak. So of course, and then as I'm sitting up here steady trying to clear my throat and stuff like that, like, the heck out of here with this. It's not finna stop nothing that the Most High has to say, even if I have to record 1,000,000,000 times. It is not going to stop the Most High God from encouraging people to not get stuck on them bridges. Clearly, if this is happening, then that means that this is for somebody to hear. Clearly, if the enemy is trying to stop my sound, and it's like so pathetic to me when you think about it, that the enemy really thinks that he's greater than the great I am. For the enemy to think that he's going to be able, he or she, whatever, think that it's going to be able to stop the true and living God from being able to get the message across, he got to be goofier than he looks. But anywho, so I said that to encourage you guys. Don't get stuck on a bridge. Don't get stuck at the closed doors. Don't get stuck in the hallway when you have other doors that are opening for you. Don't be afraid to step out on faith. Don't be afraid to try something new. Don't be afraid to move to that new destination. I mean, I'm not going to say don't be afraid, but don't get stuck in the fear. Because, if you do feel afraid, it's like, because of the unknown, that's understandable, but don't allow that to be the reason why you're choosing to stay stuck. And use discernment. Because if we move off of emotion and feeling, sometimes we can make decisions off of an emotion and a feeling that's temporary. It's not everlasting. So you don't want to do something. You don't want to make emotions. You don't want to make major decisions off of temporary feelings, off of temporary emotions. You want to do this of sound mind, sound doctrine. If God has been showing you something for a very long time, and under the sound of this voice here that's telling you to move to the other side, then you know that the Lord is telling you to move to that other side. And yes, you're going to have to leave back people, places, and things. That's life. People, places, and things aren't meant to stick around forever. We have children. They're not going to stick around with us forever. They have to grow up. Even if they do still stay in the house with us, they still have to live their lives and grow up. You know what I mean? So, I don't know how long this is. Okay, it's almost done. So, I hope that the sound is working now. I hope that y'all heard everything that needed to be heard. And stay encouraged, y'all. Don't get stuck on that bridge, because bridges are meant to get you from one place to the other. Don't just stare at closed doors, because the Lord got something better and bigger for you. Just step out on faith. All right.